hot girl and your hot girl was sitting by the bayou. My hot girl to your hot girl, I got a hot boy that is fire. Talking about a hot boy, a year. Say what? Whatever we go, now you know I go. Break it down. If it's on the 17, won't you make noise? I say the Bird Town building got some hot boys. If it's on the 10 wall, won't you make noise? I say the St. Thomas building got
Yo. This is Benjamin's Room Podcast, episode 31, and we're here with a very special guest. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
I go by the name of Mr. Meana, one half of the infamous group Partners in Crime, you know what I'm talking about? In the building. Benjimazroom, I'm in here.
Man, bro, as many people as I sat down and talked with, been interviewing for a little while, been doing media for a little while, Mr. Meana, Kango Slimm, Partners in Crime. When I first entered the real street promo game and dealing with filming in clubs and all that, y'all always showed me love. And matter of fact, you showed me love before that. I was working at Chicken and Watermelon selling hats.
Right.
You did, like, that's how many.
Yeah, you're right.
That's how many hustles, you heard me?
Right.
Then that's how I ended up linking. That was before I was even into media.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you guys introduced me to a whole different world of rappers and studios and all type of different. I think I ran into Hurricane Arlene,
Right.
like in the studio, and she kind of linked me up with everybody. And you was like one of the most down to earth dudes. You bought hats from me almost every week. I was selling hats,
bro.
you was buying hats.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I love hats. That's all I wear is hats. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Right, so that's my thing.
Yeah, Kango bought hats, and he don't even wear those type of hats. He well, you know what I'm saying? He's just buying hats just
Kangos,
because.
yeah. Fedoras, that's his swag right there, right?
Man, and I just thought it was so dope because I'm a real fan of you guys. And not only am I a real fan, I grew up in a Jehovah's Witness household. My grandmother was a Jehovah's Witness, right?
Okay.
And that rap shit wasn't happening
Right,
in her
right,
household, right?
right.
So I used to have to sneak and listen to rap music. So I used to listen, I'm like, probably like, I'm gonna say like 10, 11 years old. I'm sneaking, I'm listening to Doghouse Posse. I'm listening to a lot of the dudes from across the road because I'm from Marrero, right? Then,
Harvey.
yeah, so like I'm listening to all those local dudes.
Ruthless Juveniles. shit like
Juveniles,
that. Yeah,
but
right.
but when y'all came out, y'all was like that group. I didn't know exactly where y'all was from, but the music was so crazy to me. Like, it felt so raw. And I remember picking a side off the dump. I was on Partners in Crime side when it came to Partners in Crime, UNLV.
Right.
Partners in Crime side off the dump. And I loved y'all music from Gucci's to I didn't even know what Gucci's was.
Right.
The song was so dope. Thank you, Miss Lily. I thought Miss Lily was a real person.
It was a real person.
All right, so I thought it was. I never knew what Miss Lily was. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But I'm like, damn, is this like a drug set or something? I'm like,
right. Thank you, Miss Lily. Right. We was talking about the weed. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So I'm thinking, I'm not knowing, but the music just kind of took a life of its own from a person that wasn't outside yet. I wasn't out the pull check, right? So, like, across the river, we kind of was just getting on a lot of the different music. We had Bust Down who lived in my neighborhood. Right. We had all these
Tim
different...
Smooth, all kind of people.
Yeah. But see...
MC Thick, yeah.
Until you get certified on the other side, it's almost like a rite of passage. Like, you gotta get certified on the other side first. So once y'all music started really taking hold on our side, we wanted more of that. Right. So when the UNLV, the Mystical, all these different tips started happening, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And
fun era, them 90s.
Man, I watched you transition so many times throughout your career for me just being a fan of it that when I met y'all, it was almost like me meeting fucking O.J. Simpson, like a Hall of Famer. Because in my eyes, you guys was Hall of Famers. It was just so happened that you was able to be reached, you was able to be touched because y'all never really left the people.
Right.
Can you explain how that felt, bro?
I'm a regular person, bro. I put my pants on one leg at a time. You know what I'm saying? I look at music as a job. You know what I'm saying? It's just a profession that me and my brother chose the route to go on. But far as feeling better than somebody or above somebody, I never was that type of person. You know what I'm saying? I was just always down to earth, humble, and like I said, I just looked at music as a way of life, like meaning like that's how I make money, you know what I'm saying? That's how I make a living for my family. So, you know, it was never no superstar stuff over the people because I always knew that the people is who made us. If the people wasn't rocking with us, then it wouldn't, you know, partners of crime wouldn't even matter, like, you know what I'm saying? So I always value people, I always value relationships, like, and that's what I'm big on, you know?
And I could tell that through the music because New Orleans is a place. I always say that I call it a laboratory. If anybody go back on any other of my podcasts, I kind of talk about that a lot, about New Orleans being a real laboratory. And people come at me about artists that I like. Like, I was big on Rifle 9, still am.
Right.
And they'll be like, oh, well, Rifle 9, he not really all that. I be like, look, bro, one thing about New Orleans, the people don't lie. You heard me? If it's hot,
they like what they like.
If it's hot, it's really hot.
Yeah, they
like
really
if it's hot here, it could be hot anywhere.
Right.
Whether they get it or not yet, if it's hot here, it's hot.
Yeah,
bro.
it's a tough market to break in. Like, you know what I'm saying? I relate New Orleans to like a New York. Like, you know what I'm saying? Meaning like, if they don't like the music, they just don't like the music, no matter who you is. Like, they don't care if that you got buku hype on you. If they don't feel it, they just don't feel it. And that's the same way New Orleans is. Like, you know what I'm saying? If the people don't rock with you, they just don't rock with you. You know what I'm saying? They don't fake with you. Like, it's just like, we don't rock with that. They don't play that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
but see, like, as a person who, I'm in the marketing, I'm in the media, I'm in the selling, people who don't really get that, they look at it as something wrong with the people. Like, man, these people, they just, nah, bro, you got to adjust it. Like, you got to adjust it to something that they like. As soon as they like it, and some people say New Orleans is a bunch of dick riders. That's all they do. Man, look, it's a market, bro. And if you adjust it to something that they like,
they with it.
They gonna get on it.
Right. And they support it big time.
It could be y'all could be ops. They could be your ops, and you'll be surprised. Your mans will end up hating on you, and your ops be like your biggest fan or some shit.
I saw that happen with ourselves as well. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of people that was UNLV partners in crime, little differences, and they still was buying our stuff, even though they was rocking with UNLV. But I saw it mainly with BTY Youngin. The beef that he was having with people. I go leave CDs over there by Skip by the Bubble when he had the car wash. And all the people that was supposed to have been his ops, that was the main ones that was buying the music from him. So, yeah, you know, it's just like that. They wanted, I guess, hear what he had to say or what he was talking about, but there was also fans of what he did. So it was crazy. But that's how we rock in New Orleans. If we like it, bro.
Right. Well, now I say people hate what they don't understand, but it's a thin line between that love and that hate. And I heard T Grizzly give a analogy on a song that I was just listening to on my way here. And he was saying love and hate is like salt and sugar. You know what I'm saying? You never could really tell what's what. You know what I'm saying? Till you get a little taste of it, and it still might be a little salty and a little sweet. You just don't know what it is. You just have to keep grinding, keep staying true to yourself. And if you treat this thing like a marathon, you're going to see the waves of life kind of go up and down.
Right.
I think there's nobody better to speak on that than you.
Right.
One thing I wanted to get into, all right? I don't want to go into, because usually I go into an origin story. I go to, like, wait, I think you done enough of those, right?
Everybody should know, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody should know where the partners in crime came from and all the origin story. So now, you being an older artist, right? And you been in the game so long, you into podcasting.
Right,
How did that end up coming into fruition?
Well, I do a podcast with the host is a guy by the name of Gas, and I'm a co-host with another co-host by the name of Jay Timer. The name of the podcast is No Rap Cap Podcast. And what happened was I went over to do an interview. Matter of fact, when I first met Gas, it was through I inboxed him about getting Dizzy and Skip on his podcast, and we got in an argument. And from the argument, I was like, I don't want to text the argument, let's talk. So I said, send me your number. He sent me his number, we talked. We had our little dispute, but then as men, we got to a common ground.
But the argument was over.
The argument was over, Skip and Dizzy, like he been trying to get them to come on the podcast, and he felt like now that they got a project out, they want to come. And I had to explain to them, like, these guys wasn't even interested in doing no podcasts. This was me telling them what they needed to do because they had me as like a A&R or something like. And it was like, Mike, you know, whatever you tell us to do, that's what we're going to do because y'all got a great track record of, you know, making things work. So I was like, look, bro, y'all need to do these interviews to kind of let people know before the album come out what's to come and what it's going to be about. And so I reached out to Gas to do that. And like I said, the argument went from, you know, hey, man, I've been asking them to come and, you know, they ain't never want to come. Now I'm starting to get a little buzz under my name and now they want, I'm like, nah, that's not how that went. So I explained to him how it went. We got to understand it. And before I brought Dizzy and Skip over, he was like, man, I want to do Partners in Crime too. I said, well, look, let's set up a date. We going to come and do it. But I did it by myself first. So I did it by myself. Then I brought Skip and Dizzy. Then he was like, no, I want to do Partners in Crime. So when we did the Partners in Crime one, after we did the podcast, he called me and he was like, look, bro, I like how you talk. I like how you, you know, dialogue with me. I think we got a good chemistry. I'm looking for a co-host. Look like you fit the profile of being a co-host with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think we'll have some good, you know, conversation going.
Right.
I said, well, look, bro, I was looking to get into a podcast and I just didn't know how to get paid from it, how it works. So it was prolonging me to go forward with it. I said, I never podcast before, but I'll give it a try. He said, no, man, you can't say you're going to give me a try. You got to be all in. Right. This ain't no trial-based thing. I already know you got it. Like, you got to give me your word that you're going to be 10 toes in. So, you know, we talked for a few more days, maybe a week or two, and then I was like, let's do it. And I brought Mac over to get on there, Mac, the Camouflage Soldier. Yeah, just come home, got him to do the podcast, and then he was like, bro, you got to do this with me. He did Wallow, and after he did Wallow, it been on with me and him since.
Man, look, and I'm gonna tell you this story. Me and Gas, I'm a person who I don't shy away from controversy, but I don't start no shit, right? But if it's something that I feel like should be said, and I feel like I'm qualified to say it, I'm always say it.
Right.
And me being me putting down the type of I call it grizzly that I put down in the media game and in the marketing game, right? Whether a person look at me as a bricklayer or not, I feel like I am, right? So, and I feel like I put in enough work because I always say that the truth, you have to be qualified to tell the truth. Like everybody can't just speak the truth. Right. You have to be a qualified person in order to say certain truths. So I can't speak on this person's situation, that person's situation, if I never put in work in that lane. Right. I could just look at what somebody else saying and take notes and, you know, take notes from the outside, but I can't really speak it. But when it's my turn to speak, I always speak. So different media outlets, Chuck Moolah, Nola Zine TV, and then No Rap Cap came into my target frame, right? So when I was speaking on them three, he ended up blocking me, right? So he blocked me. But I was speaking because I just felt like I look at what they had and I look at what they was doing, and I'm like, you could be doing more, bro. Like, so it's not like I'm criticizing you, right? I'm just looking at what you doing, and I'm like, I see you following a lot of trends that I don't like. Like a lot of the media platforms, they started posting news clips with the full caption. Like, that's something I did. I started doing this in 2008, right? And you just starting your media platform and you doing what I'm doing. Like, you know, it's kind of like biting my style. So as a rapper, you can always check somebody that's biting your style, or if you see somebody that have power and you see them doing like something that's lower class than them, and you like, man, bro, that's whack, bro. That's not. But you know, like, so me and him, we never really had a disagreement because he blocked me so fast. Right. We wasn't able to even have a disagreement.
Yeah, he block quick on you, like, you know what I'm saying. As soon as he feel like it's like ain't on the wave he on, he's just like, man, I cast it out.
But we have a lot in common. You know what I'm saying? Like, both. I think he from Cross the River too.
He from Harlem.
Yeah, he from Cross the River. So I started out as a fan, but every time somebody put out media, I look at it from a point of view of what I would do or wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it because I'm critiquing it because I know what I do and know what I'm about to bring to the table, and I want to do what you doing already.
Right.
So when I'm looking at what you doing, like, all right, well, he do this. I know I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do current events because this person doing. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm trying to find a niche.
Lane.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, I kind of criticize those guys. I made some enemies out of it. Chuck a good guy. Chuck just was like,
Chuck good dude.
yeah.
I mean,
Chuck,
all those brothers are good brothers.
Yeah.
Like,
But I just didn't get to know them.
Right.
But they don't know me either. So when I'm doing my thing, they kind of took offense to it. You know what I'm saying? But I always said I would love to one day just speak with them. You know what I'm saying? Just on some, because one day if all of us just get in the room, I don't even know if they view me as being big enough to be in their room. You know what I'm saying? But I know what I put down in the streets. I'm like that local rapper that just been buzzing on in his neighborhood. You did, or in my world. You know what I'm saying?
What's crazy is like when I was out of town, I think it was during the storm time or something like that. The stuff you was posting was keeping us updated on what was happening between you and Byron Cole.
Right.
Y'all was keeping us updated on what really was going on, what the power was going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was like tuning in, go to Benjamin room, like let's see what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So y'all was keeping it up, bro. And I took my hat to both of y'all guys for that because y'all kept us glued on, you know, what was currently happening, what was going on without us even being here. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was dope, and I respect what y'all do, you know what I'm saying, on that level, because it take a lot of bravery to be out here doing that time, moving around and getting that information to the people. So yeah, I took my hat.
And look, bro, like and when it comes to just that whole media lane, I just wanted to get the message out that I really admire you. Like, if I ever give you a criticism, it's because I like you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I tell a lot of my kids on the park that I'm like, look, bro, I'm fussing at you because I love you, bro. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I ain't give a fuck about you,
I want better from you.
I ain't give a fuck about you, boy. You wouldn't even be on my radar to talk to you. I would have passed you up in my car. But I care about you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I see some things that you're doing. You dig? And I'm older. I feel like I'm 40. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how old a lot of them dudes is. Some of us kind of like around the same age, late 30s, early 40s, something like that. So, like, but me as a person that always analyze, I'm kind of like an A&R when it comes to just media. I'm just looking. I have a real love for New Orleans, kind of like how you guys do.
Right.
And that's why y'all always been able to stay afloat and bring good music. Like, y'all could take a couple years off. Y'all, like, right now, Partners in Crime come out with a hit song just out the blue. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just, y'all have y'all pulse.
For it, right.
Y'all got y'all finger on the pulse of the culture, what you know. Oh, yeah, this is going to be a hit.
That's what they want.
Yeah, this is going to be a hit.
And we know what they like from us, you know what I'm saying?
And, bro, like, I heard some music from y'all that wasn't, like, pushed as much. I'm like, boy, they would have just put like, this was one of them ones where, I play it at work. I'm the work DJ at my job. I play it at work. They'll be like,
what that is?
What that is? Like, boy, that came out there. Boy, I was using that for my promo way back in like 09, boy. Like, boy, I ain't never heard that. Yeah, boy. Like, man, them dudes nice like that.
Yeah, put it in, right.
So I was happy to see you into the media game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I very much applauded that because I know what you was about to bring to the table, right? How you feel about interviewing guests now compared to like just you and guests on y'all thing? How you feel about that?
I'm open to doing guests, but I only want to do guests that's have something that's going on. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people inbox me to get on, but it's like, what you got going? What kind of motion you got going? And like, you know what I'm saying? Or what's your goal? What's your end goal? It's a lot of things that come in play when I sit down to interview somebody, because I want to have a good conversation with you. So I don't want it to be like, if I talk to a person and they like one word with everything, yeah, nah, all right, no, like, bro, you sound like you ain't a person that can converse good. You know what I'm saying? Right. So what kind of podcast would that be with you just up there? Yep, no. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's gonna be real boring. So I try to interview people that's, you know, have some good dialogue with them, bro. You know what I'm saying? Got a head on their shoulder, can speak from an intelligent perspective, you know what I'm saying? Right. And that's pretty much how we choose guests, you know what I'm saying, according to what they got going on, you know what I'm saying? Right. So that's why me and Gaz and Timer built it around our conversation and our perspective, because we know that we can keep up with what we want to talk about besides having a guest that might just, it makes the algorithm go up and down.
Right.
It don't have no consistency to it, because if people only gonna buy into an artist, it's only when they want to see the artist they want to hear about.
Right.
So you got up the day, you get somebody else that ain't got no motion, no traction with them, it's back down. And your numbers fluctuating, and you can never get sponsors and things of that nature, because they like, y'all don't have no consistent flow of something that's going, nothing that's concrete. You know what I'm saying? So we just based it around our convo, and for us, the people that we interview, we just interview people that can coincide with what we maybe have already going on.
Man, what's your relationship with Terrence Gangsta Williams?
I'm cool with him, bro. I was always cool with him from the streets prior to when he was, in the 90s. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even when he was, running with the Cash Money thing or whatever, Gangsta was a big fanatic of music, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, I just did an interview with him a couple of days ago, and, we was joking and clowning. You could see the rapport. If you saw the interview, you could see that we had some cool rapport.
Right.
Because we kind of already knew each other, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Prior to him going to jail and coming home. So, he was a cool dude, like, joke, clown a lot, real, play. You know what I'm saying? That was the kind of relationship we had, you know what I'm saying? But we wasn't partners, like, hang out or nothing like that. But when we cross each other paths, like, what's up, man? What's up, Gangsta? Shoot the breeze for a second and keep it going,
I think the relationship between the people who keep the party going, and the drug dealer, street dudes, I think that's a real important relationship. You know what I'm saying? At the time, he was a drug dealer, street dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And at the time, you was the person who kept the party going.
Right.
As long as the party going, we're gonna sell all the drugs we want, and you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah. It work hand in hand. You know what I'm saying?
All the girls we gonna be happy.
They got the spot. Yeah,
right.
Everybody at the spot where they at. I'm at the spot. So you bound to run across the path of those type of people, because if you're in a place to be, or you're a part of what's the place to be, the people that's gonna be in a place to be or need to be there gonna be there, and it's usually all the popular people, all the popular girls. So that's pretty much how you know everybody in the city, whether you partners with them or not. Y'all are running cross each other because of what I do and what they do. Right.
And through the sands of time, because on my podcast, I made a choice. That's why when you said you had never heard of it, right? I already probably knew that, right? Because I made a choice when I started doing this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it wasn't my idea, all right? It was KP, because he see my traction that I get online. Like, bro, you got to come out with a song. You got to do music. You got to do something.
To elevate what you're doing, right?
So me and him started the podcast. My first podcast name was just something about Rob, and we were talking about Rob 49, and he was just coming out, and his buzz was big, so we were talking about Rob. Then we started getting to a point where it was like, well, we need to get some guests on, right, by like episode 3, right? So I always took on the perception of, I never really counted numbers, right? And it's a gift and a curse with that, because I don't look at the numbers too much. I always took my podcast as a time capsule. Like, I wanted to get guests on, and I wanted to snapshot their life at the times. The people that didn't really know the guests, I wanted them to kind of give a good info of who they were. And I think it's kind of panning out good, because some of my guests, they locked up. They didn't elevate it. Some of them didn't
fell off.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it's a good time capsule to see, all right, it's not always about the numbers for me, but once it starts being about the numbers, it can't not be about the numbers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a gift and a curse when it comes to podcasting. I like it. And like I said, I was happy to see you get into it. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because I already know it's gonna elevate everything on my end, because I'm in that field too. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to take this time to salute you and everything. Miss T.
Okay.
All right. So I'm online, I'm scrolling, I see a TIFF, right?
Mm-hmm.
The internet roll off of TIFFs,
off
of disagreements.
You
know what I'm saying? Like people really don't care what you got going on until you have an argument going on with somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm reading this situation. Then I kind of felt like a child watching their parents fight. You know what I'm saying? I went from, this interesting. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Let me get some insight on this. You did. I'm in the meet. Let me get some insight. Like I said, I'm not messy. You did. Yeah. So I don't care. But I'm knowledgeable. I'm knowledgeable. I stay in the know. So I'm like, and then I started feeling a little bad. You know what I'm saying? And I always question my own feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like when I feel good about something that's bad, I always question that. When I feel bad about something that's supposed to be good, I always like why?
Getting your own head on it. Right?
And the reason why I felt bad at the end, because I was like, damn, this is like watching your mama fight with your daddy when you thought they was cool, like they thinking it's a happy marriage, and it's like they fussing over some shit.
You know, first of all, I want to say I love Miss T. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whether she believe it or not, I love her. You know what I'm saying? Like we've made a lot of history together. We've been through a lot. Our journey with music have coincided a lot with each other. We've made, songs together. We've talked about life situations. That's a sister to me. Like, I've told her a lot of personal things about me. She's told me a lot of personal things about her. And to me, what would happen was just a big misunderstanding. Like, you know what I'm saying? She did something, that, she put a post up about me having a book coming out and where it was going to be at. And then she kind of, had to let everybody know that was her connect and that she wasn't really lending that hand to nobody else, you know what I'm saying, from that perspective. So I went to call her, and when I went to call her, my number was blocked. So, usually I don't do nothing on no social media, but, with her being so close-knit to me, like family, I just felt like I had to address something to her because I had to let it be known that, damn, T, you know what I'm saying? I thought we was in a good place. I just talked to T 2 days ago prior to that incident happening.
Right.
So when it came out, I just stated to her, how I felt, you know what I'm saying, about the situation, you know what I'm saying? So when Marcelo called us and got both of us on the line, and I was trying to explain to her, where Marcelo was telling her, T, that kind of went off bad. If you had a problem with somebody else, you shouldn't have used Meana flyer to display that feeling that you had about somebody else. Should have put that person up there and talked about that particular incident that happened. So Miss T was trying to tell me that wasn't about you. I was kind of telling people what you got going on, but also venting off something else that I had an issue with. So, it went kind of left for us, through the social media thing, but ultimately, it was pretty much a big misunderstanding,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I don't have no problems with T, man. I wish T the best, you know what I'm saying? She a great artist. She do what she do. She a veteran. And I wish her the best. She got a book out. I wish people go out and support her and get her book, you know what I'm saying, as well as mine. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's no competition. I'm not in no competition with none of those people, artists or people that write books or whatever. That's not the case. I'm a type of person that I help you if you ask. You're if I could give you the information on it, but that's how you do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh yeah, I could hook you up with the lady to get whatever need to be done. So that's what people was kind of saying about the incident with T. If you did directly help them, because I did something for her. She gave the lady my number. The lady calls me. The lady asks me some questions about Miss T for her book. Mm-hmm. In the mix of that, I asked her, I said, well, look, I was interested in doing the book myself. Are you open to take any more clients? The lady was like, not at this particular time. I have a lot of people, but give me about 3-4 months and I'll be open to do it. That time came. I called T. I said, T, what that lady's name was? Because I have her number, but I ain't have her name. She gave me the lady's name. I called her, and the lady did business, paid for my stuff, and got it done.
Right.
So I think T was upset thinking that I was saying that you didn't plug me with the lady. That's not what I was meaning. I was meaning you didn't intentionally plug me with the lady. I did something for you, and then I just went my own move from there.
Which this New Orleans, right?
Right.
So the internet always gonna be that gift and curse thing. You know what I'm saying? It's good for information, but when you put something on a public platform, anybody can interpret it however they want to interpret it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think that by this being New Orleans, when you have a positive relationship with somebody, you gonna always eat off of that positive relationship, whether it's now or later. That's just a gimme, right? Because we know the dangers of having negative relationships with people in this city because we so close. Like everybody 5 minutes away from each other. So
right.
it's not like I'm not gonna see you at Walmart.
You're bound
I'm not
to
gonna
bump,
see you at the dollar store,
Yeah.
at Rumors, like none of
anyway,
the clubs.
right.
Like we gonna see each other. So it's best to just try to keep a positive relationship, or if you're not gonna have a positive relationship, like guys do, just block somebody and just be like,
just
look,
leave
we
it
just not
alone.
gonna have no
Yeah.
relationship. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So like I'm happy to know that y'all kind of that y'all came to understanding, because I hate to see bricklayers, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Get into any type of disagreement online on a public platform, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
I know people fed off that, bro, but like I said, that's not how I air out my dirty laundry. That's not really how I do business. Like even with the guy, OG Murder, when he kind of went on a rant and he had me wrong too. You know, he thought that maybe I was taking up for Cess 45 and he thought I was speaking for Cess 45 or for something that Cess 45 had did for me. I was like, oh, my dog put me on, and I did a little drop for him or whatever, and dude thought that I had was like standing on some stuff against what he was talking about, which I hadn't even seen what he was pretty much talking about.
Right.
But with me not knowing that, brother, I didn't want to, I don't do the internet thing. I don't even come from that internet era, like, you know what I'm saying? So I waited to meet with him. And I was willing to pull up wherever he was at, you know what I'm saying, to discuss, you know, as men, like not on no rah-rah shit and not on no gangster shit. Just
Him
on
and
some,
Gas was had a relationship
but him and Gas was
already.
cool, so Gas
Right.
was like, look, bro, don't pull up on the dude by his house or nothing like that, you know, because I had found his address out, got some information on him, and like, I was kind of looking for him to speak to him, like not on no rah-rah shit,
Right.
just really on some man-to-man, like, look, bro, I think you got me wrong. I don't really know what the beef is.
Right.
So Gas hooked it up where we can meet. I wound up meeting with the brother. Dude was really cool deep down.
Right.
You know, we talked about the differences on where he was at or what he thought was going on. I explained to him that's not how that went. We dapped off, we squashed it, and then we was at the podcast spot. So I was like, look, let's shoot a podcast, brother. That, you know, since you did something publicly, let's do something publicly as well to let the people know it ain't even on that type time. So that's
Right.
what we did. And then some of my I'ma say artist friends, you know what I'm saying? They kind of felt some kind of way because he had talked about a lot of people like Chopper, Hot Boy Around, or P-Town.
Right, so that put you in a...
And it made them look like, oh, you siding with this dude? And I'm like, nah, I faced my battle head up.
Right.
And I got past mine.
Right.
And because you still have a problem with him, I don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? So don't look at me like I sold you out. I didn't sell you out. That dude talked about me as well. I just dealt with mine a different way than y'all dealt with y'all's.
Right.
But it's no flack towards y'all. Ain't no disrespect towards y'all. It's just more like, you know, I was doing this for myself, and I dealt with that for myself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It had nothing to do with nobody else's issue or situation. So.
See, and that's why I think you such a special person when it comes to this game, like a liaison. A lot like how Mr. Marcelo's is. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You just a lot more quiet, and you move a lot more behind the scenes. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And I appreciate that because it always gives me perspective. Because like you said, people never even looked at that whole situation from that perspective of, all right, there's other friends that you have that was in this situation too, that it was just because me and you pieced it up. It's like that in the streets.
Right.
It's like that in the streets. Like
Right.
you and this person got a problem. All these people get involved in it. You and him might not have a problem no more, but that don't necessarily mean you and my partners don't have no problem no more.
Right.
And it end up always being convoluted. But it's funny to just see you kind of maneuver through that. You handle your situation with whoever you had a problem with, then you still had to come back and handle your situation with
my peers.
with your
Yeah.
peers. You know what I'm saying?
You know, a lot of them like give, you know, when I spoke to all of them about it, everybody, you know, they still welcome me with open arms. Like, you know, once I explained to them the same way I'm explaining to the public right now, I explained to them, like, look, bro, it wasn't nothing against y'all. And they was back love, like, you know what I'm saying? No problems, no beef. If they did have something, it didn't make me feel that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Cess 45, you brought Cess 45 up. Cess 45 is a person who, he in a lot of ways, he gave me my start, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gave me my start in the club world.
Right.
He gave me access to a lot of artists that was up and coming, that and he gave me a lot of insight on artist development, the thought of artists, what they really was thinking. Like, you know, you could do a show with somebody, you could do years and years of shows with somebody, then they just feel like, oh, you've been slighting me for years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Kind of like a child when they find out how much you've been getting in income tax money.
Right, yeah,
like,
right. Real talk. Right. That's how people tend to look at it. But you know, it is what it is.
But they never look at the side of, all right, it's growing pains to a lot of this. Like I gave you a chance when nobody else did. Right? But they always look at the side of, all right, you've been eating off me. But how do you feel? And I'm gonna come back to Successful 5, but this situation kind of involved his place in the game. How do you feel as an artist, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have been managed artists, and you wore a lot of different hats.
I mentored him. I ain't even say I managed him, but I mentored him.
Well, you've been able to see artists from a lot of different. How do you view the value of an artist, right? Like when you say, like an up-and-coming artist, right? Let's say I'm an up-and-coming artist. You give me my start, right? You give me a little something because you ain't gonna throw the house on me because you still gotta live in your house. But you gonna give me a little something to feed off of.
Right.
I make something out of it, right?
Right.
So when I come back and let's say I get a little hot, right? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you should pay me similar to what, because you was the one that started out with me, or do you feel like you should pay me my hot price? You know what I'm saying? Like when we coming back to do business later on down the line once I'm established.
I think this stuff is based off relationships, and if we got a certain kind of relationship, it should be something that's beneficial to us both. Like, you know what I'm saying? If what I gave you a start helped you out, and then you done got hot now, you come back, you know, I always people just give me their price. Mm-hmm. And I deal with it accordingly to where I'm at with it. Like, if I can afford to do it, I'm going to do it. If I can't, then I don't. I don't get caught up in the side of, like, what, you know, telling you what you should charge. Man, it's me. None of that. Like, hey, bro, what you charging? For you, Meana, you know, because you always hear that. For you,
right?
You know, if I want to pay it, I pay it, bro. I try not to get caught up in what I think you should do. I don't give people expectations of how they should be, because I've learned that in the game. Like, my blessings don't come from the people that I show love to. Right. They come from people that I barely even know. Right. Like, I might look out for you, and I look at it as a God system. The God system, they say God work in a mysterious way. It wouldn't be mysterious if I did for you, you're supposed to do for me.
Right.
Ain't no mystery in that.
Right.
So with me understanding the God system, I don't look for you to bless me. If you do, it's cool. But if you don't, I know I still got a blessing coming because I genuinely blessed you from a genuine spot. Right. I didn't do it with a motive behind it. Right. I didn't do it like I'm gonna get him hot and then he gonna take care of me. I don't go into it that way. Right. So I don't get hurt by it. I don't be bruised by it, because at the end of the day, my blessing coming from somewhere else. Right. And I just count my blessings as they come, whether they come from you or somebody else. So that's how I tend to deal with all this. Like, now people around me would say, man, you help such and such, he should be doing this. And I have to explain to them that's not how I view it. That's not how I look at it. So for people that feel like I should be hurt, or some people like, man, he messed over you or whatever, I don't be taking on that feelings. My wife is one of them people that, you know, see me do a lot with people, and then see them same people don't do the same back to me. And she be like, hey, B, you know, she be like, almost like I'm stupid for it. Right. But I had to make her understand, like, when them blessings come from somewhere else, and like, you see that? You see where that came from? Then she start understanding, and now we got a better understanding on, I'm not stupid. Right. Like, I'm working through the God system, and the God system works in a mysterious way, so I take the mystery in it and I get blessed through the mystery. Right. I don't try to figure it out or think I'm God to be like, he gonna look out for me, she gonna look out for... Nah, that's expectations that you're looking to get let down on, because people are fickle. They, you know, they be with you one day and then tomorrow they not. Right. And I just understand that with people, like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, throughout my time, I've learned not to get my feelings that caught up into how it should come, and I just allow it to come.
Right. Man, one day I was so broke, bro. I was broke, bro. I ain't have nothing. And I don't know if it was you or Kango that called me. It was like, you want to come work the Southport Hall?
Right.
Fucking right. What you mean? I just had got fired. You're right.
I remember that conversation, because I remember me and you talking about that outside.
Right.
I don't know which one of us called you, but I know that, you know, you did tell me the story, like, man, y'all don't know what kind of blessing y'all is to me right now. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, bro, because I took that money, I flipped that money, you dig? I bought some more stuff online, was able to really, like, because I was really at
I done bought headphones from you too.
Yeah, bro.
I bought some beats
every
from
time
you.
every time I'm selling something,
Hey.
you always hit me every
Right.
single time, bro.
Right.
And I look at stuff like that, just like you said. I have family members that never bought nothing from me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I did a lot for it and took care of their children, everything. They ain't never hit me on nothing. And I understand what you're saying. And I only brought it up just for conversation piece because I talk to a lot of artists, and some of the artists that I have recorded from the ground up, once they get hot, I can't even get a call from them. And then you have others that come through like, oh yeah, I'm coming through. Yeah, they're like, whatever
right.
you need, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the least expected people, right?
Yeah, and it's probably somebody that did less fuck, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I've always looked at it like you can't really balance it through your own intelligence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what you saying is really dropping jewels for anybody that's an artist that you looking for your value. Because I watch artists battle this, and now we're in the internet era where they battling online. Like, they coming out public. They like, oh, you think you gonna get me for this price? And I'm worth more. And if don't call me if you ain't got a rank or better. If you feel like that's what you're worth.
And ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what they value themselves as. But you burn those relationships when you don't keep it thorough with somebody that was thorough with you, because listen, we're gonna have to cross some of them same bridges again. This life, like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta go back 2 steps to go forward 5 steps, you know what I'm saying? And that be the bridge you might have to cross back over. So you don't really wanna burn that, like, you know what I'm saying, by trying to mess over somebody because you feel you're above them at this time. You know what I'm saying? God always will humble you back down, and you'll be on a lower level than the person that you tried to step on to get up. You know what I'm saying? So people just got to learn that. It ain't just in the music business. It's like that throughout life. Like, you know what I'm saying, jobs, you know what I'm saying, family members, relationships, whatever may be the case. You got to do right by people, bro, for right to come back to you. You know what I'm saying? We live in a system that go like this. So what goes around does come around. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you live long enough, you're going to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Who is Cessful 5 to you?
Cessful 5 is a brother to me, bro. Cessful 5 is who he is, you know. He's a hustler, you know what I'm saying? He's the hustle guy for real. I think sometimes Cess put, you know, his love for money over some of the relationships he may have sometime, and that could be, you know, to fault at times. You know what I'm saying?
You don't think that's... And look, I had to rationalize this, all right? Because he a Sagittarian, I'm a Sagittarian.
I'm a Sagittarius.
You say, all right, bet.
I'm on the 16th.
So, I'm on the 18th,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? So I got a cusp with Capricorn, you know, like, all that matter. So when it come to Cessful 5, I really had to psychoanalyze the guy, right? Because he did a lot for me, he did, but then sometimes I'd be like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, why would you fucking do that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I had to really psychoanalyze. I'm like, damn, when you be in the game for so long, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just have some days you just wake up and you don't give a fuck. Like, sometimes you be like, look, this guy take me as I am. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you holding all the cards, when you remember days you didn't hold all the cards, and the person held their nuts on you. And now you own the game a little bit. You own this real estate on the game a little bit. And you're like, fuck that. I gotta cash out. Especially when them bills start coming in.
Pay me.
And motherfuckers start turning on you, and you like...
bro, if you did everything, like, through the relationships that you have with people think because you got a relationship with you that everything should be for free. And I just don't agree with that. Like, I would never make a living if I did everything for free. So that's even with shows. Even if I give you a break, I got to get some money, bro. This is how I make a living. This is how I feed my family. So you can't take the relationship you have with me and then take the business that I do and use the friendship toward the business. Nah, the business is business. Our friendship is friendship. And people got to learn to separate the two. Because they stand on 2 different grounds. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you are my friend, bro. But at the end of the day, I got a business that I'm trying to run, that I'm trying to conduct, that I'm trying to make money with. So, you know, and people look at support as the wrong way. They look at it as because I called you or because I came, that was support. No, you didn't buy it, bro. Buying is the support side. I'm selling something. So if you could buy something, that's the way you support me. Don't come stand on the stage with me and think you support me. You got in free. You didn't pay to get in. You know what I'm saying? And then when I tell you I can't get you in with me, now you won't even come to the show.
Right.
So how is that support?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So people use support the wrong way or look at support as from the wrong angle. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the biggest problem people might have sometimes with Seth. You know what I'm saying? Seth have showed me love. Seth have charged me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, Seth is still my brother.
Right.
And if Seth needs something and I can do something, I'm gonna still be who I am. I don't become who you want me to be. I'm always gonna be who I am.
Right.
Your ways don't make me be nothing different because if I do exactly what you do, I'm no better than you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
either I'm gonna tend not to deal with you or I'm gonna still be me with you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I think that's a powerful thing. I think that's a powerful stance
Yeah,
to take.
I
And
just-
it's a very mature stance to take. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I looked at Seth 45 from so many different angles. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And
so he come from different angles, so you got to look at him all them angles because he come from them, and he be having you scratch your head.
Yeah,
like you know sometimes, you know what I'm saying. But when you dig into yourself, I always put myself in somebody else's shoes,
Right.
And then I'd be like, you know, even if I wouldn't do it, sometimes I just be like, once I come to the realization, like I wouldn't have did that to him, that if he did it to me, I just be like, that's just him. And then
Right.
I deal with people according to who they are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I think the hardest thing in life is to try to make people be who you want them to be instead of accepting them for who they are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If we can accept everybody for who they are, we'll move and deal with them differently. And we
Right.
wouldn't be hurt by it because we already know who this person is. So I would never put myself in a situation for this person to play on me or mess over me because I know who you are.
Right.
I know what a snake do, I know what a dog do, and I know how to deal with them accordingly. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't put
Right.
everybody in the same boat or the same basket as, you know, even with friends. I got friends on different levels. I got friends that I'm close to for different reasons, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That I
Right.
can count on for different things. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Because everybody's not, just because you can't financially give me no money don't make you not my friend because he's financially fit where he can loan me some money.
Right.
So I'm not going to judge this friend off that friend. He always can loan me money. You can't loan me no money because I don't got no money, bro.
Right.
But that don't make me not your friend.
Right.
I might help you on some stuff that money can't even fix.
Right.
I'm there for you. Oh, you needed a ride. I ain't got no money, but I can't pick you up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it still hold value at the end of the day, and you just got to judge your friends according to who they are. I had friends that didn't like to fight. Scary. He don't fight, but that's still my partner.
Right.
I'm not going to go nowhere where I know we about to
He
get
might
into
go do
it
your taxes.
and then be mad. But yeah, but he hold me down somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? I can't look for him to fight because he
Right.
not a fighter. I can't make this dude be a fighter. That ain't my fucking dog. He was scared.
Right.
He's scary. So let scary people be scary
Right.
people, bro.
Right.
Like, you know, don't try to make him brave because you'll wind up getting him killed buying some shit that he ain't even built like. You know,
Right.
or you'll send him on a mission that he ain't even built like that for. He'll get you killed.
Right.
Because he's not prepared for that.
Right.
Because he's your friend. Come jump in the car. You come ride with me.
Right.
No, not him, bro. He
Right.
not the one. He might ride on you.
Right.
Because he not built
He
like
not
that.
built
You know
like
what I'm saying?
that.
So people tend to do stuff with people just because they use the word friendly so loosely that they put everybody in the same basket
Right.
as a friend.
Right.
You know, I got sisters, brothers, or whatever. I got children that I got to deal with differently because they got different personalities. I love them all the same,
Right.
but I got to deal with them differently because of who they are.
Right.
I can't say, oh, y'all just doing this one thing because that's how I am. No, this child needs special needs. This kid right here, you know, this kid outspoken. Like, it's just, you got to deal with people according to who they is, not for who you want them to be, bro. Right. And I think life would be much more easier and understandable if you can come from that perspective of it, you know.
Let me see if I can remember this right.
This is a good interview, dog. You asking some good stuff. Like, you digging in now. You know?
Look.
Yeah. And you know how to present it without it being ugly either,
Right,
you know?
right. Look,
Or messy.
look, let me see if I could remember this verse. Niggas on my team is all about that green and by any means we take it to the extreme, make it turn to a murder scene. Dog, I used to know this verse so vividly. Like,
I'm terrible with that.
World War III, because I
With Mac?
didn't smoke so much, but I remember being at the bus stop, right? And this is the days when niggas used to be like, "Want to challenge you at the bus stop," right?
That's battle.
Bitch, I'm about to bust. I know you ain't hear that Mac. I know you ain't listen to it.
Right, so
Niggas
you
on my
use-
team is
so
all
you-
about that
so
green
you-
about
so you
eating
gonna use
music
Mac
to the
verse to
extreme.
smash somebody,
Make it
right.
turn to a murder scene. I be screaming from the Glock when nigga fly. Say I used to
You
know
knew
this
it- you knew it
verse,
by heart, yeah.
boy, and niggas be like,
Boy, that boy spitting.
oh, Mac, right? I got in my feelings behind Mac, right? Because after y'all got finished raising me, you did. After y'all got finished raising me and I wanted to be a gangster, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they always raised me, I was under the girls. You did. All the girls, you had to know that partners at Crown, like they get with them girls.
Yeah,
you did.
right.
By the time Matt came around, I'm off the porch, right?
Right.
I'm outside, and I want to be a gangster now.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me that balance between being smart and being a gangster. You know what I'm saying? And he gave you that wordplay. He did shit with BG and the real street elements, but he used to present.
He was like
different
our Nas.
thoughts. He had
like Nas in New
Daddy,
Orleans.
do you love me? And if so, why you wasn't there to hug me and watch me grow?
Right.
This is what it sound. That, you know what I'm saying? And so once the internet hit, Matt got out of the jail, right? I was dealing with Arlene and everything, and I was just trying to just get any type of interaction with Matt, because I just wanted to tell him one day, like, dude, like, you really took me through a part of my life that I don't think I would have got through without your music.
Oh,
you know what
deep.
I'm saying?
That's deep.
Like, I wouldn't have got through without your music. And once I seen what he went through, because murder situation happened, then the situation with him happened in Slidell, and it was like, damn, like, I watched two people that kind of like I really looked up to fall. And then when I seen him get out, and I'm like, I couldn't get in touch with him. I ain't gonna say I felt slighted, but I always felt like one day we gonna meet. Like one day he came to my son's school one day. I'm like, why the fuck you didn't tell me he came to your school? Like you don't know.
Yeah.
He like,
you wanted to be at school that day. Right.
He like, Dad, I didn't even know who he was. I'm like, bro, like this, like you know what I'm saying?
This is a legendary dude.
Yes,
right.
But who is Mac?
To me, Mac is considered like a brother to me too, brother. These my peers. Like, these are people. I remember Mac, I lived on Burdett and Calapista in Gerrytown. Me and Kango had a house together. And Mac used to come down there with his camouflage stuff on every day. Like, he wore it religiously. Like, he'd come through. So he'd stop by the house. And we used to just chop it up, you know what I'm saying, like on game. Like, he was still trying to find his way, you know what I'm saying? I think at that time, that was right before he went to No Limit, you know what I'm saying? He was in that little place where, like, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go Cash Money, I'm going to go with No Limit. He was going through that. So we used to have a lot of dialogue on just life and, you know, the career, because he had already saw us, like, kind of do something and had made a name for ourselves. You know, even though Mac came out before us with the Mac and Storm thing, but, you know, that was, like, short-lived for him. And then it was like the grown man side of it, like, man, I'm trying to make this out of career, you know what I'm saying? So he was trying to find his way. So Mac always have been, like I said, this every day, you know what I'm saying? He's stopping, holler, come in the house for about 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever, we'll chop game, and then he'll keep going where he's going at. And he did this every day until he got with No Limit. So, and from even with the No Limit relationship, like once he got to No Limit, you know, I remember him pulling up on, they had the Camaros at the time, you know what I'm saying? We had our Camaros as well. And, just chopping games. So, you know, when I saw Mac get eliminated, I knew that wasn't him.
Right.
And that was hurtful to me, because I knew that, but I knew his soul, I knew his spirit.
Right.
I knew who he was, you know what I'm saying? And then for him to get caught up on something like that, I was like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? That's a good one that they eliminated, like, out the game. And for him to give up that many years of his life, still come home sane, still come home with the same spirit, even a better spirit, because he's older now, he's much more mature, you know what I'm saying? And but still have that essence in him like that, you know what I'm saying? And I tilt my hat to the brother, you know what I'm saying?
The thing that shook me about him, was that he have a verse, right? But I think the song was, at the beginning of the song, he said it's dedicated to my brother Soldier Slim, right? And he said he's locked up over some shit that he didn't commit. It was the niggas I was with, but I was silent. It's funny how Lucifer could seduce you. You know what I'm saying? And that verse came out years, and in his court trial, I can't imagine them playing that verse.
Oh,
you know
no,
what I'm saying?
man.
Like they played because like I'm in Slidell one day, and I'm in the hospital with my baby because he was running a fever, and I was standing in Slidell, and I'm sitting in the waiting room, and I'm listening to some music, and an older lady sat next to me. She said, you know, a rapper killed my grandbaby. I said, for real? I'm like, who? She She's like, I don't remember his name, but they call him, I think she said they call him the camouflage assassin. That's all that stuck in her mind. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's all that stuck in her mind as a grandmother was that
This
the
rapper
camouflage assassin. Which that was just, like, I never even knew. Like, you know, Mac used to say he was the camouflage assassin, but I could only imagine them being in court just running that name, the camouflage assassin, because you're trying to convict him for murder, like C murder. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you using these rap monikers against you in a court of law, where this is an art and it's transferring over to a court of law. And now we living in times where the artists are actually rapping their murders. You know what I'm saying? On, you know, like back then it just used to be. It was just
like what we seen, what we emulate sometimes. Like it wasn't even that you have to live the lifestyle. It was just like what our eyes see.
Yes.
The environments that we in, some of the things that's going on. And we was, you know, a lot of music that be made be the soundtrack to people's lives of what's going on around them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily that you have to do it, but it's like what you see.
Right.
And that's what all this was. They paint pictures. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is what I see on a daily basis. So I just paint the picture verbally so that people could kind of, you know, buy into it from that perspective. So that's pretty much how great of an artist that Mac was, or still is, you know, that he can paint those type of pictures without even, you know, with being outside of that type of lifestyle, like just like him talking about the things that's going on around him and knowing how to put it in you know, and use the pen and pad to kind of like articulate what he's seeing, like, you know what I'm saying, bro?
He did it perfectly, because you selling a product to people to young kids, first of all. So it always have to ticker between, you can't come off as being like out of the loop. So you have to tie
yourself into it. So you'll take a third person situation and make it your own.
Right.
And that's what they convict you on, to the level of saying this is who you are. Nah, man, I'm an artist that's painting a picture. I took something from a third person perspective and put it in my own life as if this is what I'm living, but this is not really my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But it is my lifestyle to a degree, because this is what's around me. And this is what I'm seeing. Same thing with the heroin song that we had.
Right.
Never snorted heroin, but all my little partners that was running with me was getting loaded. And this was a thing. When we made the song, we thought that if I talk about what this song, what this is doing, I'm a young man, I'm 19 years old, I'm super immature.
Right.
But I'm thinking if I write all the side effects that this song do, you know what I'm saying, or give to you, that maybe you wouldn't mess with it.
Right.
But not knowing that I was inviting people to mess with it. You know what I'm saying, bro? So, you know, when you're young and you're just trying to like find your way out, especially when you don't have the proper guidance, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna do things the wrong way sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
And y'all coming from Uptown. This is something I always get into with Uptown artists, right? I always have to remind them that the whole world not Uptown. You know what I'm saying? Because Uptown is a world. You know what I'm saying? Like, Uptown is a world all by itself. Like when you listen to like OG Murder, and he'll start ripping on a person, start talking about their grandma dirty drawers, and it's like,
he go in,
God, like you gotta clutch your pearls. He's like, what the fuck
he a monster.
Is this?
He a super monster.
But that's where they, like, even the Uptown girls, you know what I'm saying? Like when you deal with a girl from Uptown, you gotta be ready. Like, you gotta be ready, because she done seen some things, she done heard some things.
We get exposed early. You get exposed
at a very early age. And so some of them, it matures them. Some of them, it just make them so raw. You know what I'm saying? So like, and when it came to Mac, when it come to other artists like you guys, that's why I always ask about just the mental.
Like how you view this person, or like what's your mindset about that particular person?
I interviewed Super Cent, and she used to tell me how she used to always just want, like, she come from a real good home, and she just wanted to be with the street girls. Like, she just wanted to hang with the street girls, but she come from 2-parent household, but she wanted to be a part of that, and how she had to mature away from, you know what I'm saying, just, you know, immature in the long run.
People always want what they don't have.
Right.
And I'm the opposite of Super Cent. I come from a struggle, 1-parent household. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people didn't know I lived in the Magnolia Project, 2705 Belmont, apartment D. You know what I'm saying? Lived on Josephine, lived next door to Black and Mo.
Right.
That was my friend, my childhood friend. You know what I'm saying? Then moved to Hollywood, then got to the East. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when I moved to the East, I found a real structure of friendship, because these guys wasn't guys that I had to look over my shoulder for. You know what I'm saying? Like, they
Right.
was real friends. They was real kids. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was 16 when I moved in the East, but these guys that was 16, 15, 14, they just was really 15, 16-year-old kids. It was much different from the environment I came with from Uptown, where
Right.
these guys was moving like grown-ups. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so I always wanted to be a part of, like, I just wanted to have a normal kid life. I didn't want to have a lifestyle of, and I was around it. So what I try to show people is that you got to be a leader within yourself, because, like I said, I lived next door to Black and Mo. I ran with him for a minute. I could have followed the same lifestyle that he chose to run with because I was in that environment. I lived in Holly Grove around some of these people that was doing a lot of selling drugs, all kind of stuff. Skip, all these people was my partners, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it was so easy to get into what they was into, but I chose not to, and that takes some leadership within yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? To be like, I don't really want that lifestyle for myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think mainly the reason that I didn't want that lifestyle is because my pops did 42 years in prison, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
In Angola. So people always told me, like, you're gonna be just like your daddy. And I always was like, no, I'm not. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it steered me away from anything that can get me caught up or convicted to wind up in the same place that my pops was in. You know what I'm saying, bro? So it's funny that, you know, Super Sim was coming from a certain kind of lifestyle, but wanted to be involved with the bottom shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm coming from the bottom, wanting to be around, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
the not so violent shit. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's just funny. You always want what you don't have. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And that's my example for that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, you live in this good household, but you want to know what that life is because you don't feel accepted, like, you know, because I don't know what they know or I'm not into what they into, so
Sound
I
like
want to get
Nunu
involved
on
with that.
ATL. Like,
Right.
how she wanted,
yeah, how
you
she
know what
wanted
I'm
the,
saying?
she wanted the bad boy,
Right,
like, you know what I'm saying?
right.
You know, but she living in a mansion, you know
Now
what
I
I'm
say
saying?
good girls like bad boys, you know what I'm saying?
Right, and it bees like that, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Until you mature to a level to find out what it's about,
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you dip in it because you're only curious about what you don't know.
In your young mind.
In your young mind. So
Right.
the curiosity kills the cat all the time. You always want to at least go around it and see what it is until the trouble come, until you get into the things that you like, oh, man, I'm ready to get back home where it's good at. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So that's usually how it go, but vice versa. Like, you know what I'm saying? They got the guys that's, like I say, living this struggle life that's looking like, boy, if I was living like you, I wouldn't be into none of this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, you know, we want to see what that life is like, because we're already going through something in this life.
Right.
And we know it's hell over here, so we were dying to get to where the person that's living in a mansion or whatever may be at. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me this before we wrap up, right? You've been in the game for so long. Where do you see this game going?
I think hip-hop is forever, bro. You know, and the reason why I say that is because...
Locally.
Oh, you talking about from a local perspective?
Yes, from our perspective, because you brought BTY to the game for us, right?
Mhm.
You helped that happen.
Yes,
We watched BTY situation play out a legend in such a small lightning bolt of time, a
Right.
fucking legend. And he really, if you ask me personally, he is the reason why Baton Rouge is what it is now.
I mean,
You know,
it could be, yeah, it could be the case.
because like
you
I
know?
said, across the river, you needed that rite of passage to this side to be like hot. You know what I'm saying? So when G Slim and all these across the river artists started dealing with other artists from that side and started making music together and looked like one clique, it made us official. And BTY was that bridge to Baton Rouge where Kevin Gates been making music, right? But Kevin Gates didn't transfer over like Maine and Tech, and then Young Boy and
right.
all these different artists that he gave.
Fredo Banks,
Nah, Baton Rouge is Iraq almost. It's like Uptown kind of.
Yeah, right. I totally understand it. I you know, with me knowing a little bit more about that, like when Youngin was meeting Tech and Maine and them, they was kind of already in that lane. Like, you know what I'm saying? Young
Right.
Boy was already emerging. He was already doing some good numbers in the mix of BTY doing what he was
But
doing.
you need that acceptance. That's why collaborations are so important.
Right.
Because it show acceptance. It show, all right.
Oh, they rocking with them.
Yeah.
Or he rocking with them, like,
Yeah,
right. And I think I think it was a great stamp. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the glue for that was Fee. Chinese feet, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Black Balloon Gang.
Right.
He was the one that was kind of fusing all that together, like, you know what I'm saying, which gave it all relevance on both sides. Like, I think what BTY did for BR also did for BTY, because, like, with them locking in with him, like, that made more people in BR understand who he was, and vice versa. When he locked in with them, that was making people from here start understanding what Baton Rouge got going on. They was already kind of doing some of the same stuff because the internet was out.
Right.
So people be already exposed to the lifestyle that they want because they see it everywhere anyway. It was a way of life anyway because the internet was already circulating
Right.
on what's going on in all these different cities anyway.
Right.
Chicago was already making their noise. Things of that nature was already going on. So these guys was already taking hold to this what we want to do. But when they start locking in together, they just start exposing each side to, you know, to these people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think they help people in Baton Rouge know more about him, and I think he helped more people in New Orleans know about Tech Main, people like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And that's why I asked you, what do you see us headed? As on a local level, you have your Ride for 9, you got your YD the Illest, you have all these different artists that's popping, you got artists that's coming out, and you been where you looking at the game from your perspective. You've been in it for a long time. You watch the waves go up and down. You watch trends. What do you see this all being headed?
I'm saying that I think it could be, we got some great artists in New Orleans, bro. I think that we need they need some A&Rs to plant themselves down here, and I think we need to go back to all this development. You know what I'm saying? I think we've lost all this development, and everybody think that, you know, it's just about a record. I think the artists down here need to learn more about the structure of the business and how to use their craft as a business and not a hustle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because if you hustle in your business or your craft, that's all it's gonna be is a hustle, like, and it's gonna move like a hustle. But if you structure it like a business, you'll start seeing different things come apart. And that's what happened with Ride 49. He might have started it off as a hustle, but then people gravitated to him and start putting business behind him, which elevated him to the level of what he's doing.
But
and
the kid was in nursing school.
Right, right. But what I'm saying is that, you know, you had the Larry Monroe, like, certain people just started, like, connecting him, you know, and hanging around him and elevating what he was doing through them, like, you know what I'm saying, through their relationships.
Right.
And off of those relationships, like, he was able to evolve to the level that he needed to be on. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, say Cheese had called and say, man, check this kid out, and Interscope, and kind of put them on his radar. Like, you know what I'm saying? It had business behind it besides it just being raw talent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was the same thing with Youngin. We was a little bit more the business behind what he was doing. So you're going to see him elevate because we know the right people to tag stuff in, check him out. We know the right connections to put his music in front of so that it can get heard in a certain light. We knew the DJs. We knew certain people that could make a difference for him that he probably wouldn't have knew just on his own.
Right.
So that helped him elevate faster from certain things gravitating around him that's kind of plugging things, because things do be going plugged unseen. You don't see what the behind the scene things are happening, but there are some things behind the scene that's making a difference that make that artist elevate a little faster than, you know. Same thing with Nino Calvin. You know what I'm saying? His family is connected with Birdman and in these different situations. So they got some things that be getting plugged behind the scene that you don't see that makes him elevate faster.
Is there a difference between business and politics?
It goes hand in hand.
Right.
It goes hand in hand because, you know what I'm saying, it's politics as usual. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z said, you know, and usually it's when you conducting business.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? The politicians do it all the time. They handling business, but they politicking. They kissing babies, you know, shaking hands and kissing babies. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Me being in Nord and how long we got to wrap up? All right. Yeah, right. Me being in Nord, right? I ruffle a lot of feathers. Always do. Cause I have I got an influence, right? And I always deal with kids, and I deal with kids on a real level.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes a park could have a kid, and he's a star kid. And I start a situation over here. Oh, I want to come play for you. And the coach feels like, but I always got to tell these people, like, I have real friends, right? But when I'm dealing in the element of
That business?
That work. Like, I don't have real friends, but I don't have no enemies either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I have situations where if it makes sense for us, it makes sense. If it don't make sense, it don't make sense. It's not that you my enemy and you might feel slighted by something I do, or you might feel slighted by something I say, but I'm only going to say it if I feel like I have the right to speak that truth. You got to look at that from your own perspective. Wherever you at in life, that's not my problem.
Right.
But I'm not making no enemies. But if what I say ruffle your feathers, that's not my problem. You know what I'm saying? I felt qualified to say that, and I could stand on it. You know what I'm saying?
And there ain't nothing wrong with it, brother.
Right.
Like, I suggest you don't even change nothing up with that.
And me being a Secretarian, you know how it is.
Yeah, right.
Like, we don't,
we speak our piece.
Right.
We speak our mind.
So me learning how to be mature, though, right? I started having to learn about the power of the spoken tongue, the power of what I'm saying.
When and when not to, too.
Right.
There's a time and place for everything. Sometimes we could be out of line when we speak, even if it's the truth.
Even if it's the truth. And sometimes even when you qualify, because it might not be the right time.
It ain't the right time. So you got to learn to have a understanding of, like, this ain't the best time to speak on that. I'm going to pull this person to the side, or it might not be time to air that out in front of certain people.
And sometimes
so that's the politics of what you may be having to understand about the business.
Right.
You know, you got a point to prove, or not a point to prove, you got something to say that make a lot of sense, but you said it in front of the wrong group of people.
Facts.
So that's the politicking side of it. Like, I'm gonna talk to him in my own little light, instead of in front of these people, because I might make him look bad in front of his peers, and then that's gonna hinder some business that I got going forward with him.
Right.
So it's not the right place to speak on that right there. Right?
And anybody that's watching this, if anything you got out of this, I hope that you got the power of relationships. Because in New Orleans, relationships are very important.
Right.
Hold those positive relationships to your heart, and don't entertain the negativity.
Right. I mean, you gotta, this is how I look at it. You gotta take any negatives that's thrown at you and try to make a positive out of it. Right. I try to take all lemonades and make I try to take all lemons and make lemonade out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So before we get out here, you know what I'm saying, I want to let the viewers know what I got going on before we part ways.
Definitely.
I got a book that I'm releasing. I don't know when it's gonna air, but the book come out July 30th, right? So if it's out, then, you know what I'm saying, the book already be out. But if it come out before that, July 30th is a Sunday, that's when it's released. It's an autobiography, it's not a tell-all book. It's a book about my life, and it's not about me and Kango, it's my life, you know what I'm saying? But it entwines with me and Kango, some things I had with Cash Money, some things I had with No Limit. It talks about my family, my family structure, some of the things I went through, my daughters, the whole nine, you know what I'm saying? And some complications and things that I've dealt with throughout this journey that people don't know that happened behind the scenes and that wasn't publicly known to the people, like, you know what I'm saying? Some things that we had to endure, meaning me and Kango and myself as well. So it's a real in-depth book. It's a real good read, you know what I'm saying? And, I just want to let people know that that's going to be available. It's called Untold, the story of an unknown legend. And somebody asked me why would I call it an unknown legend when they consider me a legend. I said, well, I might be a legend to you, but everybody don't know me as a legend. I've did a lot of stuff around the world like a major artist, but I'm not known to the world as a major artist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm unknown in a lot of senses, like, you know what I'm saying? Even though I may be known in some other senses, like, so to me it's like the story of an unknown legend, because I'm going past the people that look at me as a legend, and I'm going to the people that may not know my story or know what I went through. So that's why it may be unknown to you, but when you read the book, you'll have a better understanding of why people consider me as a legend and things of that nature.
Right. You know? And I would definitely be going to read that book, bro.
Oh, it's dope, bro.
Like I'm definitely going to sit down
Come
and
to the
read
book
that
signing,
book.
man. It's going to be at Peaches.
Oh, I'll be there.
Sunday, July 30th. That's the release date. I'm doing a signing where people can come get the autographed copies of it, and it's from 2 to 5 o'clock, so if you can make it.
Definitely will be there, bro. And I can't wait, bro. I salute you. I applaud you.
Thank you.
And you a person that I really looked up to my whole life, you know what I'm saying? And the more I got to know you, I didn't get that sense of how Drake felt like you shouldn't meet your heroes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you became more real to me.
Right.
Like, as a person.
Everybody not like that. Like, yeah, sometimes when you meet somebody, they don't add up to being a person who you think they was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm glad that you have that type of respect, because I got the same respect for you. As you can see, we met you, and then I put you on handling some money for me,
Right.
counting up cash.
Right.
You know, so it had to be something in your spirit that I felt that I could be like, yeah, you can take care of that, because I got family members, other friends.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? But I put you on that.
And at that time, we ain't even know each other that long like that. You know,
I was
what I'm
judging
saying?
your spirit, brother.
Right,
I was judging your spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
You had a
bro.
genuine spirit.
I
You know.
I appreciate that.
And that's why when you called this time, I came half cocked and everything.
Definitely.
But I'm in there because I rock with you for real.
Man, look,
you know?
I appreciate that, bro.
All top.
This Benjamin's Room, episode 30.
31.
Man, yeah, 31. Look, he
Yeah, I'm sharp. I'm on that kind of shit.
Mr. Meana, you dig, in the building, one half of Partners in Crime, legendary. Make sure y'all go get that book, episode 31. You know, I'm always messing up the episodes, but this is a seasoned podcaster right here. You know? He owning everything, and we out.
Peace. Oh, love. That was good.
Man, bro, I appreciate that, bro. Hey, but look,
Everybody in the neighborhood said I was a problem child. Suspended from school, have to stay on for 3 days. It's a damn shame, everyone said I'm only in the damn 3rd grade. But mother did not worry, her son is still kinda young. Every night she gets down on her knees and still prays for her son to straighten up and to start handling his bed. She said one day in the future